I want to thank the Rabbi, Rav Markowitz, and I believe my nephew is involved in bringing this share together and bringing me here. It's a tremendous privilege to me. You know why it's a privilege to me? Because it's nice to be with smart people. You know why you're smart people? Because you've moved to Eretz Yisrael. Because you've made Aliyah. Really. I'm telling you, this is really the place to be. Today I went to the Kosel Maravi. I was just overwhelmed. I was walking down from Mamila, the throngs of people that were going and coming back, all different kinds of people, all different kinds of Jews. It was so overwhelming, and to feel part of this nation, part of Klal Yisrael, Achenu Beis Yisrael, and to experience, of course, the davening there and people with great devotion davening. But we just celebrated Channuka, and I just want to speak a little bit about Channuka as well. And Al Nisecha Shebachol Yom Imanu Sha'asa Nisum L'Avoseinu Bayamim Ahem Bazman Hazeh. So we say God made miracles for us in those days. In this time, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Mibarditchev says it doesn't mean just that this time, the 25th of Kislev, but it means by Yamim Ahem Bazman Hazeh, in our times. There are nisim that are going on all the time. Not always do we see them. But just by realizing that there are, what is it now called, 8 million Jews that are living in Eretz Yisrael. 10 million Jews living in Eretz Yisrael. In 1948, there were 600,000. And who could ever believe of this? It's the Ness itself. I was thinking, we just finished the 8th day of Chanukah. It's called Zois Chanukah. So I was looking around me, and I was looking around every Klal Yisrael together. I said, this is Chanukah. Chanukah. Zois Chanukah. This is Chanukah. Chanukah is the nest that the Jewish people overcame the mighty empire. They beat the mighty empire. And the mighty empire that wanted to uproot Torah and mitzvahs from us. And we had a tremendous miracle through the great help of Hashem and the Gevura of the Chashmonaim. And we're living that now. We see it now.
The
Chashmonaim from Modi'in. Right. Yeah. You're living in this area where there was a lot of the battles going on in this area. So I think it's very wise. Don't let anybody think you made any mistakes coming. You're living here in Eretz Yisrael in the Paltarin Shel Melech, in the palace of the king. Who wouldn't want to be in the palace of the king? We're living in the Paltarin Shel Melech, in the palace of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the avir, the atmosphere, the air is just so uplifting. Just appreciate it, appreciate it every single day. That's something we always have to realize, to appreciate what we have, not get too used to it. It's like the people in Cape Town. They don't even notice the sea anymore. They're living there for years. They don't notice the ocean. When you come there, you say, wow, man, it's amazing, marvelous. So we have to realize, alachas kama v'kama, even more so, spiritually, to appreciate being in Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara says when somebody walks for Amis in Eretz Yisrael, is a ben olam haba. You have world to come. I want to point out something that occurred to me this year in the benching. When do we give thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for Eretz Yisrael? When do we give a bracha to God for Eretz Yisrael, for the land? So interestingly, it's in benching, right? It's in benching, right? We know the first bracha is Hazan Ha'olam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustains the whole world with His goodness, with His kindness, and Baruch Atah Hashem, Hazanos Hakol. Then we begin the second bracha. And the second bracha is Naida L'cha Hashem Elokeinu. We change from third person to second person. You ever noticed that? In the first bracha, so it's in third person. He sustains the world. Hazan es ha'olam kulai b'tuvay. He sustains the world. Hu noisein, he is giving. It's in third person. But we switch, in the second bracha, we switch to second person. We switch to that we're speaking directly to Hashem. Nodeh l'cha Hashem Elokeinu. We speak about you. We talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you. Nodeh l'cha al she'inchalt l'aviseinu, that you have given to our forefathers Eretz Chemda Toiva Urechava. You have given to forefathers a desirable and a good and a spacious land. Because why do we go to the second? Why do we go Nodeh l'cha? Why don't we say in the first bracha also then that Atah no sein lechem l'chol basar? Say who knows sein lechem? He. Because the first bracha is really a universal bracha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustains the whole world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustains the whole world. It's a bracha that He sustains the whole world. He sustains it for all of mankind, for everybody. It's a bracha of everyone. The whole world should be thanking Hashem every day for the food, for the sustenance that HaKadosh Baruch Hu supplies. That's the first bracha. But the second bracha is a personal bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done for us. It's the bracha al ha'aretz. It's the bracha on the land that is given to us, and only us, and no one else. Naideh l'cha Hashem Elokeinu, al she'enchalta l'aviseinu Eretz Chemda Toiva Urechava. And then this is the bracha of the individual gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given to us individually. Al she'hetu, you took us out of Mitzrayim. Al bris choshech l'samtev tzarenu, the bris that you have sealed in our flesh. Al Torah shelimadatanu, the Torah that you have taught us. This is now special, close relationship that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has only with us. And He's given us the land. And this is our land that He's given us. And this is our Torah, which He's given to us. So therefore we say, Naideh l'cha. Right? To realize, Naideh l'cha, the special, individual gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. V'al hakol Hashem Elokeinu anachnu maidim lach u'mevarchem Isach. Did you ever realize this? Yes. It's direct. We're speaking directly to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The closest relationship is when you speak directly to someone and you say you. Right? That's the closest relation. Ato echad v'shimcha echad, mikamcha Yisrael ga'echad haaretz. And we say on Mincha, in Or Sameach of Pinkas, Zecher Tzadik Levracha used to visit South Africa. And I remember once we were sitting next to each other, he used to come, and he said, the deepest relationship is when you could say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you. And he said, that's what we see in Shemini Esrei. It's Ato echad v'shimcha echad, mikamcha Yisrael ga'echad haaretz. Ato kidashta. Relationship with Hashem, we could say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you, not He. He is further away, more removed. But we have that personal relationship. But where do you see that personal relationship? In the second bracha of Birchas Hamazon. So I just want to bring to your attention, and to my attention, all of us attention, where do we thank Hashem for the land? In benching. I don't think that's where we thank Hashem for the land, huh? Yeah? Birchas Haaretz. So it is a good idea to bench. See, I know that bread is not in vogue now. You know, people don't eat too much bread nowadays. I always mention that it's important to have bread at least once a day. So you sit down and we bench, and it's a mitzvah d'oraisa. You eat bread, v'chalta v'savota v'rachta Hashem lekecha. Right? Only two brachos which are in a Torah. Benching and Birchas HaTorah. Thanking Hashem for the Torah that He's given us, which we do in the morning, right? So we have an opportunity of being Mekayim mitzvah d'aseh d'oraisa. But more than that, to really give thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to really feel grateful for what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done for us, and that He's given us this land. And despite all of the world around us, who don't want that we should have it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us tremendous Yanta Shmaya, and through the tremendous Gevurah of Klal Yisrael in all different ways, that we're here. And we've seen it this year. Oh, you've seen it more. You've seen the unbelievable miracles, right? You know, that are happening all the time. Just last week, man, the terrible, the missile that got through and it landed in the park, right? Not far from here, right? Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can continue watching over us. So, once in a while, it's good to bench. And then to do it with kavanah. And to thank Hashem, not for the food, for the food, first of all, He sustains everybody, but for the land. And this is the importance of Haida'ah, of giving thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the title of the shir is Yehuda and Yosef. Yehuda and Yosef. This week's parsha, we come to the encounter between Yehuda and Yosef. Right? The beginning of this week's parsha. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. And Yehuda approached him. Yehuda approached this man who has been very cruel to them and has snatched away Binyamin. And Yehuda is the one who approaches Yosef and to come and to beseech from him and beg from him and be ready to take his place. Yehuda is ready to take Binyamin's place. Because as he says to this Egyptian tyrant, that how can we go back to our father if we don't come back with Binyamin? The nafshay kshura b'nafshay. His nefesh is bound with his nefesh. And I'll take his place. So Chazal say, Vayigash Elav Yehuda, a very incredible medrash. The pasuk says in Amos, pasuk says, Hinei Yamim Bayim, there are days that are coming, Ne'um Hashem, says God, V'nigash Choresh B'kotzer. The plower is going to approach the harvester. V'dorech Hanavim, and the one who presses the grapes, B'moshe Chazera, with the one who pulls out, who takes out the plants. V'hitifu arim asis v'chol aharim tismagagna. The mountains are going to be filled with juice running down. Demiyeh od ma'at. So what is it talking about? So Chazal say, Choresh ze Yehuda. Choresh ze Yehuda. The plower is Yehuda. As it says the pasuk, they bring down a pasuk. And Kaitzer ze Yosef. Choresh ze Yehuda. Arkiv Ephraim Yachrosh Yehuda. Yehuda is going to plow. And Kaitzer is Yosef. Yosef had the dream. They were harvesting the bundles of grain. So Yosef is the harvester. And Chayresh is Yehuda. And here we have the first time that they come together. They come in an encounter, in a clash. But it's Vayigash Elov Yehuda. And through this encounter is going to come the resolution of everything that's going on and the reapproachment of the brothers with Yosef and the ultimate Yaakov coming down to Mitzrayim, which is Hashem's plan for the Jewish people. We have to go through Mitzrayim in order to receive the Torah, to become Hashem's chosen nation. But what is the meaning that Yehuda is called Chayresh and Yosef is called Kaitzer? Why is Yehuda likened to plowing and Yosef is likened to harvesting? So Rav Gedal Yeshua, who was one of my Rebbeim, or Gedal we had the schus, I and Sophie's father, to daven by Rav Shua for many years. He was Rosh Yeshiva Torah B'das, but we also davened by him for a period of time. He brings down from the Avnei Nezer. The Avnei Nezer is the Sachar Shavarav. The Sachar Shavarav says, the Gemara says, what is the Malach of Chayresh? The Malach of Chayresh, plowing, from the first of the 39 Malachas, according to one way of looking at it. It is softening the ground. Chayresh is Rafuya Ara, softening the ground. Right? Chayresh is you plow, because you can't plant unless the ground is opening up and it's softened, and then you can afterwards plant. Right? So the Avnei Nezer says that the midah of Yehuda is the midah of we softening our hearts. You know, our hearts could sometimes be tough, maybe, and we soften our heart, and we feel closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The avodah of Yehuda is to soften the heart, and softening the heart is to be humble and to realize the goodness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing for us, because a person who has a very tough heart, so he doesn't feel humble. But humility goes hand in hand with gratitude. A person softens his heart and he shows gratitude. He feels that he owes so much. He owes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he's ready also to thank people that have done things for him. But you need to soften your heart for this, right? If you're kasher ma'od, you're a tough guy, so you're not somebody who shows gratitude to other people, and you're not somebody who is humble. The midah of Yehuda, says the Avnei Nezer, is chayresh, is the avodah, basically, that our hearts should feel what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing for us, what other people do for us, and to submit oneself. It takes what's called hachnah, to submit oneself, to work on being humble. That's the avodah of the heart, the avodah on the heart, softening one's heart, expressing the feelings of humility and gratefulness, thankfulness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore being open to daven to Hashem, to ask for Hashem for what we need. There's a taisvis in Avodah Zarah that says that people sometimes, they don't want to ask from HaKadosh Baruch Hu because then they're going to have to be grateful. They don't want to be grateful, so they don't ask. But if a person is ready to be grateful, then he's ready to open himself up and to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So basically, the Inyan of Yehuda and his name, we know the essence of Yehuda is thankfulness. Because Leah, when she gave birth to Yehuda, she said, Hapam oides Hashem. Now I'm going to be thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because I have 4 children. Because the Imos knew, with Beruach Kodsham, they had a spirit of Ruach HaKodesh. They knew there were going to be 12 sons. They figured, well, God is going to give it out evenly. It doesn't always work out that way. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has different ideas and different intentions, And she got 4 kids. So she said, Lakachti, Natalti Yosef Michelki. I received more than my portion. So she was grateful. Now I'm sure after she had Reuven, she was grateful. And after she had Shimon, she was grateful. However, we have an attitude, and especially when things usually happen this way, that we take it for granted it's going to be this way. We take it for granted it's going to be this way. When people get married, some people give drushes. I don't know if it's such a great idea. They start talking about the children that the couple is going to have, Not so pashut. We take it for granted. Of course she was thankful for having Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. However, when she had Yehuda, this was something that she said, Natalti Yosef Mechelki. This was something that she felt, as they say in Israel, lo magia li. They used to say magia li, but maybe now it's changed. Lo magia li, it's not coming to me. In other words, when something comes to you and you didn't expect it, and you don't think you're entitled to it, that's the word. We think we're entitled to things, so we don't give thanks. We don't give enough thanks. But the essence of Yehuda is Natalti Yosef Mechelki. I've received more than my portion. I'm not entitled to this, and nevertheless, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given me. So she's feeling the immense gratitude. And this is the midah of Yehuda. And the midah of Yehuda, therefore, is this humility, this modesty, this feeling humble. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given it to me. Kedush Yerim says that's why Jews are called Jews. The name that we have now is Yehudim. Even though in the Torah we're called Ivrim, but the name that really sticks with the Jewish people is Yehudi. Yehudi, right? Because that is really the greatness of the Jewish people. That's the pinnacle of the Jewish people. That we really feel we're not entitled, and nevertheless HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. That's what it means to be Yehudi. And that is the midah of softening one's heart. Not magiali, it's expecting, everything's expected to me. And people walk around sometimes, why did you do that? How could you have done that? That's gaiva, that's arrogance. The opposite of that is hachna, avodah shebelev, the avodah of the heart. Chayresh, to soften one's heart. To be humble and to be grateful. And therefore Yehuda, he epitomizes tefillah, prayer. Where do we get our prayer from? David HaMelech. David HaMelech is the one who taught us to pray. David HaMelech, Tehillim. Every chapter in Tehillim is filled with the sense of gratitude to Hashem. Or HaKadosh Baruch Hu helping me. Or HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thank you. V'ani tfilosi l'cha Hashem eitz rotzain. Elikim b'rov chastecha aneni b'emes yushecha. David HaMelech is the embodiment of tefillah, of prayer. He is a descendant of Yehuda. Yehuda's avodah shebelev reaches its height in David HaMelech. And therefore, Yehuda represents chayresh, softening one's heart, tefillah, and therefore Vayigash Elav Yehuda, Yehuda is coming and approaching Yosef with the total, overwhelming expression of his heart, of begging from him to release Binyamin and I'll take his place. And therefore Yosef couldn't carry on this charade. You know, there are Mefarshim that say, the pasuk says, he didn't do it willingly, he didn't reveal himself willingly. It's another big discussion why he's carrying this on. But the fact is, it says he couldn't keep it inside anymore, right? He became so overwhelmed by Yehuda's entreaties, by Yehuda's beseeching, by his tachanunim, by his heartfelt request, he couldn't contain himself anymore. That's the koach of Yehuda. So, Yehuda represents hoida'ah, okay? One of the main aspects of Chanukah is what? Lahaydais ulahalel. Tiknu b'halal haydaya. Chanukah is enacted for thanksgiving and for giving praise to Hashem. It's not like other Yom Tovim that we give Haidah and Halal to Hashem. But the Halal Haidah Hashem is a mitzvah that we always should give thanks to Hashem and say Halal on any tzara that we become redeemed from. But it's not the essence of the Yom Tov. It's one of the aspects of the Yom Tov. But the essence of Halal is Tiknu b'Halal Haidah. That's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says they enacted Chanukah for Halal V'Haidah. Different than Purim, right? Purim is more physical expression of the Chag, other aspects of the Chag, but the essence of Chanukah is Halal V'Haidah. Where does the Rambam speak about the laws of Halal? In Hilchos Chanukah. That's where he speaks about it, right? The ikar of Chanukah is Haidah, right? Like we've just explained right now. This is, says the Sfas Emes, the dimension of Yehuda. Yehuda epitomizes Haidah. It is from Yehuda that we learn how to give thanks to Hashem, the importance of giving thanks to Hashem, Avodah Shebelev, like we've just explained now. Yosef, on the other hand, is kaitzer. Yosef is kaitzer. What does it mean that Yosef is kaitzer? Yosef is harvesting. So the Avnei Nezer explains that the midah of Yosef is the midah of clarifying everything with our minds. The midah of Yosef is the midah of our moach, of our minds, using our minds, and having the absolute clarity. To reach clarity by using our chachma, our wisdom, and the Torah. But in order to have real clarity, in order to be able to find the emes, to find what's truth, We have to be very careful that our reasoning does not become affected by our physical whims and the inclinations of our body. Our body has its whims, has its desires, which we know is the lower part of ourselves, right? And our body could lust things, and want power, and want honor, and want all different physical pleasures, and all of these things. And we have to separate our mind and not allow it to become affected by all of these physical drives and physical pursuits. Because then we're not going to come to the truth. We might fool ourselves in thinking, oh, this decision and that decision is the right decision, but really it's coming because of a agenda which is being hatched from the lower part of ourselves. So the Avnei Nezer says, to reach the real truth, we have to be able to be kaitzer. We have to be able to harvest, kaitzer. We have to separate, right? If you want to enjoy the grain, you got to separate it from the ground. That's what kaitzer is. So the avodah of the moach, of the mind, of chachma, is that we have to be able to empower our mind and not to allow any of our physical drives to pollute and to taint our thinking. You hear? That is quite a novel idea, amazing idea.
Yes.
And how true it is. How true it is. Because people find all different kinds of reasons to rutzim for this, why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that. But it's not always the emes. But it's because of the hidden agenda that is really motivating them. And they think that they're using their minds, but their minds are still very much connected with all their personal kind of pleasures, let's say. So that's the avodah of Yosef. The avodah of Yosef is the mayach, is the mind, which in our world is the world of Torah, the world of Chachma, the world of learning, which Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Asher Baruch Habanu Mikol Ha'amim, and Asan Lanu Es Torasai. We spoke about Kavana in benching, Kavana in the morning, in Birchas HaTorah. Sometimes I'm talking to myself, to try really to concentrate. In the morning, when we wake up in the morning, after we finish washing our hands, use your time, whether you make the brachas at home, or whether you make it at shul, but it should be, mamish to have kavanah. So this is, again, the only other bracha which is min haTorah. And the bracha of giving thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Asher bachabanu mikol ha'amim, v'nasan lanu es torasai, Asher kedishanu b'mitzvaysa v'tzivanu la'asek v'divrei Torah. Right? And this is the wonderful Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. And this is the midah of Yosef, that we have the privilege and we have the opportunity to be able to learn Torah and to be able to, that Torah should be pure Torah, separated from any other kind of subjective influences. So this is the midah of Yosef. Yosef is the epitome of success. Who's the most successful person in Sefer Bereshis? Everybody is going through tzaras, difficulties in Sefer Bereshis. Torah doesn't hide it. It's amazing. Torah doesn't hide it. Pretend as if the life of the Avos was all like smooth and dandy and great. No. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of tzaras. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Who's the one who had tzaras, but he always is on top? Yosef. Yosef, it says in the pasuk always, Ish Matzliach. Ish Matzliach. So listen to this. We always translate Hatzlacha as success. But in Tanakh, we see Hatzlacha is used for seichel, using one's intellect correctly. To be Matzliach means to be Matzliach and to have the wisdom. So this Fasemes says, it goes from the name of Chedusha Rim, amazing. Haidah, we said Chanukah. There's a mitzvah of Haidah, giving thanks to Hashem, right? Giving thanks to Hashem, which, by the way, Rashi says amazing. It's that saying Al Anisim, Rashi says. And Hallel, to say Hallel, we just said Hallel 8 days. Hallel is Yosef. Hallel says, as Fasemes is Yosef. Because Haidah is the midah of Yehuda, of humility. But Hallel is that I'm praising Hashem, that I have an understanding to some extent of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I am able to praise Hashem. I am close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that I am proud to be an Eved of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yosef represents Hallel. Person has to have, the Sfarim say, the Hasidic Rebbe said, person has to have 2 pockets. 2 pockets. One pocket is, like David HaMelech says, what am I? What am I? That's one pocket. You need one pocket to be humble. But you need another pocket to say that I'm proud to be a Jew. To be proud to be a Yid. Yosef represents his pride. You know, Yosef doesn't hide the fact. In every situation, he says, it's a lekim ani yoreh. I fear God. When Pare calls him and says, I hear you know how to do it, he says, ki lekim pisrainim. Wherever he is, Yosef represents that level of expressing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of representing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I represent Hashem. And therefore, that's Hallel. That's Hallel, a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in praising Hashem and His light. Hallel is a lashon of light. Behilei neira el roshi. His light is on me. I'm expressing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And where do we express HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Express HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He's giving me His Chachma. He's giving me His Torah. No one else. And I can learn His Torah. And I become connected to Hashem. Whereas when you're humble, you're a bit far away. It's like, your place. But there's the other aspect of Torah being connected with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Both of them go together in our Avodas Hashem. We have to know how to balance them, synthesize them. So this is Hallel V'Haidah. And this is Chanukah. This is what we were doing on Chanukah. There's a din. I don't know if you've done it yet. I haven't done it yet. To take the leftover oil from the fire, from the Chanukah, take the leftover oil, and others. The Shulchan Aruch says the oil. It's based upon a shiltus, I think, and others say the wicks also. You have leftover oil, so we know that the oil that we use for Chanukah, you're not allowed to get benefit from it. Don't use it for a Greek salad or even Israeli salad. The oil, we take the oil and we make a fire from it. Yeah? That's the din. That's the din. Okay? So the Orchid Elio says, it's coming to teach us. We lit the fire of Chanukah for 8 days. But it shouldn't be over just with those 8 days. We lit the fire of Chanukah and we all were elevated we all felt a closeness to Hashem. We all, especially here in Eretz Yisrael, could feel nisim that are going on. Right? It's been a very uplifting time. But it shouldn't be over with Chanukah. Take the oil, all of that, and make a fire. Make a fire that with all the oil of Chanukah, it's going to carry on burning. It's going to carry on illuminating. Take Chanukah with us. Take Chanukah with us. Chanukah, this farm says, is an amazing yontif. It's the only yontif that it starts in 1 month and it goes into the next month. And also because of this idea that the Chanukah continues from Kislev into Teves, and it should carry on to illuminate our lives. And we've just discussed right now Yosef and Yehuda, Hallel and Hoidah, these midas, these attributes of Yehuda and Yosef, which is basically the aspect of the service of Hashem with our hearts. We serve God with our hearts. We don't serve God, in a very perfunctory way, just like a robot, just do, but you put our heart into the mitzvahs. That is the avodah of Yehuda. And at the same time, we are a nation of chachma, of tremendous wisdom. And we have the Torah that Hashem has given us. And it's through the Torah that guides us. And therefore, the time, of course, of limud Torah, to learn as much Torah as we can. Torah in the morning, Torah at night, to emulate Yosef, the avodah of the Moach, the avodah of the Torah. And this, let's take this from the Chanukah, and that it should enrich the days ahead. And that, as we spoke about before, let's try to have a little more kavanah in benching, and a kavanah in Birchas HaTorah, and davening, and strengthen our limud HaTorah. And please God, in the schus and the merit of all of the wonderful Chanukiyot that lit up all over. It was amazing to walk into the streets and see all the Chanukiyot all over, and I think all throughout the land. Jews, more religious, less religious, Laini Chanukiyot, and the schus of this mitzvah. We should be Zocha, the Or Chadash Al Tzion Toyer, V'niskech Ulanu, V'mheira La'orai. Thank you very much for coming, and it's wonderful to see you all, and you should only have much, much hatzlacha here in Eretz Yisrael, and look forward that more and more people will come. And big hashakayach to the people, to Adobe and the Rav, that are doing so much here, and for in Modi'in, and hopefully this or should spread throughout this whole town. And Yirtzeh Hashem, bracha v'hatzlacha, all the best.